Hey everyone, how are you doing? It's Tanmeet here. I hope your Friday is going great. I'm talking today about how to make the impossible seem possible through gratitude. So this is a story you do not want to miss. I have a very good friend who I wrote about 2 weeks ago who did an Ironman. I mean, that's stunning in of itself, but he's amazing. And he went from not exercising regularly to doing an Ironman. So I'm pretty impressed, pretty inspired. His name's Chad. I'm going to give him a shout out. He's unbelievable. So anyway, I was talking to him about it and he was telling me how great it was and he's breaking it down and telling me all the stuff about it. And then I found out something new about him that I didn't know before. And that's that he didn't like running before doing this Ironman. He actually doesn't like running. And I found that really amazing because I hate running. So I was thinking, how could he do this Ironman? How could he make this happen? And he told me he couldn't do it, or he didn't like it, or didn't think he could do it. And so he said, but you know what I did? I used gratitude. And I thought, what? And he said, yeah, you inspired me with your gratitude. And it's not something he'd ever told me before. So I said, well, tell me what you mean. He said, well, I figured, 26 miles of running seemed daunting and not doable or impossible. So I broke it down into gratitudes. And so today I'm going to tell you what he did, but more importantly, why it worked and how you can apply it to anything you need to do. Okay, so what he did, he took 26 people and he put them down on a piece of paper for each mile of his marathon. Yep. So every mile, he said he stopped, he took out that piece of paper, looked at who the gratitude was for, and that entire mile, he thought about them and thought about how grateful they were for them. I mean, it's unbelievable. And he said that's how he got through the marathon. So I was thinking about it a lot after he told me that. I was really impressed, really inspired, really touched. But also I thought, there's a reason that works so well. And so that's what I want to break down, the 5 reasons that gratitude really broke that impossible task into a possible one. And that's how you're going to use it for whatever you need. Okay, number 1. I thought I just lost my connection. Sorry. The number 1 reason that gratitude worked for him was because he basically hacked his neurotransmitters. Every time you practice gratitude, you secrete more dopamine and serotonin. Serotonin because you feel good, dopamine because you get a reward from feeling good, and then you want to do it again, like anything we get addicted to. And so the surges and the cycle keep going, and you end up doing more and more, wanting more and more gratitude. So he tweaked his neurotransmitters to want to get to the next mile and get more. Does that make sense? Number 2. He squashed that small voice before he even heard it. So you know that small voice, right? I hear it all the time telling me I can't do something, I'm not good enough, or there's no way I can do it, I'm not in good enough shape, or whatever it is, just whatever your small voice is doing to make you feel small. That small voice didn't even have room to come in his mind because your mind starts playing tricks on you when you're trying to do something big, right? And your small voice doesn't have room if you're taking up all that room with gratitude and with goodness. So he squashed that small voice. Number 2. Number 3, I love this one. He broke a huge impossible task into 26 smaller tasks, right? So you know what he told me? He said, I'd never run a marathon in my life, but I had run a mile before. So I thought all I need to do is run 26 1-mile runs. Brilliant. And so each 1-mile run, he thought of a different person and he ran that mile. So he broke it down into smaller tasks. Anything you can do to do that helps your mind understand you can do it. Number 4, gratitude makes us more present. This is a huge one. It's actually part of my new course called Your Gratitude Roadmap, which is this free video course I'm putting out soon, I think in the next week or 2. And I teach you how gratitude actually brings you to the present moment. It gives you more presence. And so he was so with that present moment each mile, with that person he was feeling grateful for, that he didn't have time or space to go into this fear mode or anxiety mode about not being able to get through this marathon. And then number 5, my favorite one. Because when they look at functional MRI studies of the brain and they look at what happens when you practice gratitude, they see that you feel the same way as if someone loving you is holding your hand. Someone loving you, nurturing you through a painful experience. He basically brought his bestie along with him. He brought a loving friend along with him on that marathon. I don't know if you know this study. I mentioned it in my blog, that when they show people who are looking at a steep hill to climb, people who are looking at the hill with a friend think it's less steep, that it's easier to climb than if they're looking at it alone. Same hill, same steepness, but when you're looking at it with a friend, it seems more doable. And so what my friend Chad did was he took gratitude, he made it his friend, and he let it nurture and love him and be his companion through this 26 miles, the last 26 miles of an Ironman impossible feat, right? So those are the 5 ways that gratitude helped him. If you want to remember them or, didn't jot them down or you're trying to remember, you can go to my blog from last week as well. But they're basically 1, he tweaked his neurotransmitters. 2, he squashed that small voice before it even came up. 3, what was 3? Oh yeah, he made huge tasks into smaller ones. Number 4, he was more present. And number 5, he made gratitude his best friend. So think about it. You can do this with anything. You could do it with reorganizing your house. You could do it with really hard meeting you have, or a hard conversation, or a hard weekend, or a hard week. Think about it. You have a stressful week at work and you break it down. You use gratitude every day at work for every piece that's difficult, right? You make yourself write out on a piece of paper what you're going to think about and what you're going to pay gratitude to during that difficult task. You break that whole week into smaller tasks. You squash that small voice that you can't get through this week. You're more present with your week. And most of all, you have a friend with you. You're not alone. This is huge, my friends, huge. So if you want to read more about it in that blog, you can go to my blog. But basically, I want you to understand that gratitude can be the way that you break down anything that you feel you can't do into something that is more doable. Okay? This is huge. I want you to really think about this. Rewatch this if you need to. Squash that small voice in your head and make whatever seems impossible possible today. Just sit down and say, I'm going to get through it and I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do what Chad did. I'm going to do an Ironman, for God's sake. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, reach out to me anytime. I love hearing from you all anyway, through messages, emails, however it works for you. And I hope that helps your Friday, your weekend, and your week ahead. And I hope that gratitude becomes a friend that you rely on. Okay? So it was great to see you, and I hope that I hear from you soon. Bye for now.